Nicholas Mevoli, born in Florida in 1981, spent the majority of his adult life in Brooklyn, New York, working as a prop technician in the film and television industry. Notable projects he contributed to include Gossip Girl and The Chappelle Show. Alongside his work, he harboured dreams of becoming a writer and actor, even appearing in the independent film Exist. Mevoli was also an accomplished athlete and thrill-seeker, which led him to take up freediving in 2012. His rapid progress in the sport saw him clinch victory at the Deja Blue competition in the Cayman Islands within a year. Subsequently, he triumphed at the same event in 2013 and secured third place at the Caribbean Cup. Mevoli's achievements continued as he claimed bronze at the World Championships in Greece, becoming the first American to surpass 100 metres in the constant weight with fins category. Eager to further test his skills, he set his sights on competing in the prestigious vertical blue event known as the Wimbledon of freediving. Held at Dean's Blue Hole in the Bahamas, the competition took place in the world's deepest known sinkhole, offering ideal conditions for freediving. The event featured 34 athletes from 16 countries across 3 diving categories, including constant weight with fins, where divers descend using fins while following a guideline without touching it except for the descent and ascent transition. The second category is referred to as free immersion. In this category, divers are permitted to use the line itself to descend, but they are not allowed to use fins. The final and most demanding category is constant weight without fins. This category is similar to the first one, but divers are not allowed to use fins to aid their swimming. The objective in each of these categories is to dive as deep as possible on a single breath hold, and it is quite impressive that divers can achieve dives lasting 3 minutes or more. It is important to note that throughout these dives, divers are continuously expending energy. During the competition on Friday, Nicholas aimed to break the national record for free immersion, which stood at 96 metres. Unfortunately, something went wrong during his attempt and he required assistance to reach the surface. Upon resurfacing, Nicholas had blood dripping from his mouth and was extremely angry and cursing. While descending, he believed he had ruptured his eardrum, which would have disqualified him from further competition. Fortunately, Nicholas did not rupture his eardrum, but instead experienced minor upper respiratory squeeze, a common condition in freediving where capillaries burst due to pressure. Typically, this results in a bloody nose and is not considered serious enough to prevent divers from continuing. On Sunday, Nicholas planned to attempt a different record in the constant weight without fins category, aiming to reach a depth of 72 metres without any fins. To put this into perspective, the average swimming pool is approximately 2.4 metres deep, while the Olympic swimming pool is around 3 metres deep. Nicholas embarked on a daring feat attempting to swim to a depth of 72 metres or 236 feet on a single breath hold. Just before his endeavour, around noon, he positioned himself in the water, lying on his back with his feet elevated in an effort to achieve maximum relaxation. This would aid in slowing down his heart rate and metabolism, therefore reducing his oxygen consumption. Shortly thereafter, he took a deep breath and carefully inhaled as much additional air as possible, filling his lungs to their utmost capacity. At precisely 12:25, he submerged his head underwater and commenced his descent. On the surface, his progress was closely monitored and relayed to the anxious spectators, many of whom were fellow competitors. You may be curious as to how freedivers are able to descend and ascend rapidly without the need for decompression, unlike scuba divers. The reason lies in the fact that scuba divers breathe gases under high pressure, whereas freedivers take their breath hold on the surface before descending. Consequently, the volume of gas remains constant upon resurfacing. However, it is important to note that freediving still entails various physiological peculiarities and potential health risks. Naturally, the human heart rate decreases in response to breath holding in order to conserve energy. Yet, divers also undergo rigorous training to extend their breath holding capabilities, as it is influenced by multiple factors. Firstly, the amount of air one can retain in their lungs plays a crucial role. Additionally, reducing energy consumption is vital. This is why divers strive to achieve a state of utmost relaxation prior to diving. Another factor is the efficient utilisation of consumed oxygen, necessitating excellent cardiovascular fitness. And lastly, divers must develop a tolerance for hypoxia, or oxygen deprivation. To achieve this, divers engage in breath hold training to adapt physically to low oxygen levels and training their mental fortitude against the overwhelming urge to breathe. Nicholas was well acquainted with all of these aspects. He descended calmly to 15 metres, then 45 metres, and finally to 68 metres, where he appeared to hesitate. After a brief pause, it seemed like he was going to ascend, but moments later he changed his mind and went back down to the record depth of 72 metres. The other divers, observing this, realised that the ascent would be extremely challenging. Even without the hesitation, it would have been difficult, but now, with this additional obstacle, it seemed almost impossible. 3 minutes and 38 seconds after Nicholas submerged, he resurfaced and removed his goggles. To confirm a successful dive, the diver must say, "I'm okay." Nicholas gestured this with his hand, but as he tried to speak, the words came out garbled and he fell backwards into the water, losing consciousness. 5 rescue divers immediately pulled him out of the water and brought him to the on-site physician. The physician quickly identified an issue with Nicholas's lungs. When they turned him on his side, blood flowed from his mouth onto the dock. His pulse was weak, and within 15 minutes it disappeared completely. The team removed his wetsuit and began CPR right away. 3 shots of adrenaline were administered within an hour in an attempt to revive him. Despite their efforts, Nicholas could not be revived, so he was swiftly transported to a nearby hospital on a stretcher. Regrettably, despite their utmost efforts, he was declared deceased at 1:44 p.m. The underlying cause of his demise was identified as severe pulmonary edema. Additionally, another phenomenon that occurs at great depths is the redistribution of fluids from the extremities to the vital organs. Consequently, this shift in fluid can lead to the accumulation of blood and fluid within the capillaries of the lungs. Subsequently, fluid may seep through these capillaries into the air-filled spaces, resulting in damage to lung tissues and impaired respiratory function. In cases where the severity of this condition is significant, the resulting hypoxia can prove fatal. Tragically, Nicholas Mevoli became the first athlete to lose his life during the competition in the 21-year history of Vertical Blue.